Fantastic. I
Which I
know. You
couldn't
know
do
what?
before.
Once upon a time, I used to be able to do that with Twitter. The before times, like last week. Anyway, GM Adrienne, hey, you look a little different today. What's going on?
Do you like how I purposely didn't do a virtual background either, so you all know
I know.
where I am?
Yeah. So where are you?
I'm in a phone booth at the XMTP switchboard, which is like their network of co-working spaces in every cool city in the world. So I'm in Soho, New York, and because there's a nice little XMTP meetup here happening in a few hours, so came in for the day. And yeah, office space is super cool and styled out, and I found myself a nice little phone booth, and lighting not good. Sorry.
Lighting not good.
Look,
And I said, Adrienne, don't you carry around a portable ring light with you that attaches to your computer at all times? And surprisingly, she does not. Because
obviously
I
not.
absolutely do if I'm going to be anywhere but home. So I don't know. I was just very surprised to hear that you just don't have that, thrown in your bag.
No,
Um,
I brought my mic. That's about as good as I can do.
That was good. Your sound is perfection. You look
Great.
great anyway. I'm excited to chat. We have we're going to be starting with some news, the usual news, and then at noon we have the Quotient crew popping by. We have Jordan and Shira who are going to be popping by to talk about Quotient Social. So this is a new prediction type of thing. It's a little different. We're going to talk about that with them. And also possibly, but we don't know. But if Shane Mack shows up before we end and he's in the space,
we invited him to stop in.
We're going to pull him in. We're going to pull him in and have a chat.
There's no room in this phone booth for another person.
Well, maybe you can, if you see him later, maybe get a quick little chat with him, just on your phone, and we can show it on Monday.
I did. I brought my whole other second setup too, just in case
cool.
we needed to have someone else dialed in. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear.
So we're hoping we can make that happen. So let's get this party started. We're going to do our little intro. We're going to get things tweeted out, casted out, all those things. Casted out. Speaking of, I'm wearing my cast out shirt today. So if you are watching, share with others, get them in here, because if you were here on Wednesday, then you would have known about DX Terminal and you would have maybe made, 100% X like your berserker. But, so let's get some folks in here and we'll be back on the other side of this 41 seconds. Welcome to GM Farcaster, bringing you everything from breaking news to spicy memes to the deep lore shaping this vibrant digital community. More than just a show, GM Farcaster is your digital third space where the community connects, the stories unfold, and the culture thrives. Whether you're a daily caster or just dropping by, we've got the latest buzz to keep you plugged in. So grab your coffee and let's dive in with your hosts, NounishProf and Adrienne, for another episode of GM Farcaster. GM Farcaster. It is Friday, February 27th, and you are here with NounishProf and Adrienne for 29 minutes of Farcaster news to start your day, plus a chat with the team from Quotient HQ over on Twitter, Quotient on Farcaster, and we're going to be talking about their new prediction market. And hey, guess what, Adrienne? What? Twitter is back to normal.
I just
So I was like, why do we have so many people in here already? Because we've been having trouble with that. And it's because it's now tweeting us back out normally. So that is nice to see. So now I just have to say live now instead of like a whole big dealio. So yay. Thank you.
Thanks, Elon.
Thanks, Elon.
We love you.
Ish.
You're so handsome and smart.
You're the best. We love you so much. We can't wait to go to Mars. Anyway, moving on. We're going to start with the dev call that happened on right after the show, not long after the show on Wednesday. So, was it Wednesday? February 25th. Yeah. So Adrienne, you were there. You were hanging in. What happened on the dev call?
Yeah, dev call was great. So this is something Merkle used to do that would host dev calls since the beginning of time. I think it was like every 2 weeks they would do it. They might have reduced down to once a month. But Rish is continuing it. I think this was the first one I'd say post-acquisition, but also we know the acquisition hasn't closed yet, so mid-acquisition.
Mid-acquisition.
But I think generally is good. If you're a dev, if you're building on Farcaster, these are open invites. The calendars, it's a Google Calendar with public, so you should get that on your calendar and pop in. I found the overall vibe like just very collaborative.
Great.
So it wasn't just one-way communication from Nanar to the masses. It was kind of back and forth, and the agenda is always public as well. So they kind of just go through protocol updates, Farcaster app updates, Clanker updates. Rish did address some of the thoughts about decentralization, about the fork, Hypersnap fork, and yeah, I thought in general it was great. I think we have to remember, yeah, sorry, I'm distracted. Yes, I got a new kennel, Bert. I love you. Okay. Oh, wait, sorry.
I'm just Bert missed the very beginning, so I'll have to. We'll explain the kennel in a minute.
I am in a cage. Okay. And I think it's important to remember, like, as much as it, like, Nanar's been around forever working on Farcaster, but they just brand new team just took over all of the assets. And I told him, like, I don't even think the app really goes down, but you have to understand anyone it's all brand new. So I'm trying to give the team a little bit of grace in this interim. And I said, well, I've been sitting on all my minor annoyance bugs, which I would normally cast out and ping DWR about. And Rish did say, he's like, don't do that. Like, still report everything, because it also helps them, all this, even the small things, and maybe they can't
prioritize,
but it helps them navigate the code base, get practice. So,
and tag Nanar when you do that, because I know it's collecting the information. So the bot,
if your score's high enough,
the AI agent, if your score's high enough. Sorry, let me rephrase. If you're a 0.99, which you are. So we had a bunch of people join since we started right at the very beginning. So Adrienne, just remind the folks, where the heck are you? So that Bert Worst can understand what your new kennel is.
Yeah, I'm at the XMTP switchboard, one of 3 locations in New York City. I'm in a phone booth. So my background, I purposely did not do a virtual background. So, I'm in this kennel.
So you'd see that she's in a phone booth.
Yeah. But the actual office space is like one of the highest styled places ever. I'm in Soho. It's like all cool leather couches and dark light. I don't know. I feel like I'm in a nightclub. It's super cool, like a lounge. It's great. And
then there's an XMTP meetup in a little bit, right?
And then there's an XMT meetup in a few hours. I think we're going to be hearing about what people are building on XMTP. So
very cool.
And I think Shane announced this. It's called the switchboard. If you are building on XMTP, you can join this community, and you have access to co-working spaces in like dozens of major cities around the world. I know. Yeah. So, and you get 10 free passes a month. So for people like us who are kind of solo builders, and it's like, it's great to have a place to.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Question in the chat, will Farcaster continue building on the same protocols as before? Are there going to be some changes? And go ahead if you want to answer that, but I assume it's still the same as far as we know.
But definitely the same.
Yeah. Same. Yeah. Same. And I think you can find the notes. There used to be notes that they would keep in this Notion. So I'm assuming you still can. So you can find that from Rish's cast here, which will be in our show notes later today. So you can look for that if you want to check out the notes from there. Adrienne, I need you to explain this, because you promised I am the real Yuzuka's, you would explain who Manny is. So I'm a bit, so explain this.
Do you recognize that as Pugsin's PFP?
Yes, 100%, yes.
Okay, so if you just look at this part of the guy, it's Pugsin. And
yeah.
I learned about Manny through Pugsin, but Manny's like an open source 3D like character that people can use in like video games or anything you need a 3D moving character for. So that's all. I mean, there's not much to it. His name is Manny. He's a character. He's
like a mannequin. Yeah, Manny the mannequin.
it's
Yeah.
Pugson. There was a time like a few months ago where everybody else on Farcaster decided to change their PFPs to also
That's
be
right.
there's like a couple of variations of
Pugson?
Manny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go to the Manny main website. I think it's manny.game. I linked it somewhere.
You linked it right here. Manny's
Okay.
dot game.
Manny's.game. And he
Yeah,
like moves
MANNIS.
around. You can play with him. He's delightful. But the only reason I don't know, it showed up in my phone as like like on this day. So I must have screenshotted it a year
So
or two
funny.
ago.
Yeah.
And so I had to cast it.
So yeah,
And that is
she
it.
said,
I
and
enrolled
that
in
was her
Yakuza.
saying, showing up to the dev call with my
Yakuza.
questions like, yeah. So there you go. Now we've explained it. There you go, Yakuza. You got the thing. All right. The other big chatter on the timeline and pretty much timelines everywhere was that yesterday at Jack Dorsey, formerly founder and CEO, still founder, but former CEO of Twitter, announced, and current CEO of Blocks, that they were making it smaller. So this was, I let Kojo's comment here. Q2 is about to be a jobs report nightmare. And let me just pull up the original post over on the artist formerly known as Twitter. We are making Blocks smaller today. Here's my note. Let me make this a little bigger so you guys can read it. Here's my note to the company. Today, we're making one of the hardest decisions in the history of our company. We're reducing our organization by nearly half, from over 10,000 people to just under 6,000. That means over 4,000 of you are being asked to leave or entering into consultation. I'll be straight about what's happening, why, and what it means for everyone. First off, if you're one of the people affected, you'll receive your salary for 20 weeks plus 1 week per year of tenure, your corporate devices, and 5,000 to put towards whatever you need to help you in this transition. I want you to know that before anything else, everyone will be notified today, whether you're being asked to leave, entering consultation, or asked to stay. We're not making this decision because we're in trouble. Our business is strong. Gross profit continues to grow. We continue to serve more and more customers, and profitability is improving. But something has changed. We're already seeing that the intelligence tools we're creating, intelligence tools, interesting choice of words, we're creating and using, paired with smaller and flatter teams, are enabling a new way of working, which fundamentally changes what it means to build and run a company. And that's accelerating rapidly. I had two options: cut gradually over months or years as this shift plays out, or be honest about where we are and act on it now. I chose the latter. Repeated rounds of cuts are destructive to morale, to focus, and to the trust that customers and shareholders place in our ability to lead. I'd rather take hard, clear action now and build from a position we believe in than manage a slow reduction of people toward the same outcome. A smaller company also gives us the space to grow our business the right way on our terms, instead of constantly reacting to market pressures. A decision at this scale carries risk, but so does standing still. We've done a full review to determine the roles and people we require to reliably grow the business from here, and we've pressure tested those decisions from multiple angles. I accept that we may have gotten some of them wrong, and we've built in flexibility to account for that and do the right thing for our customers. We're not going to just disappear from Slack and email and pretend that we were never here. Communication channels will stay open through Thursday evening Pacific, so not that long, so everyone can say goodbye properly and share whatever you wish. I'll be hosting a live video session to thank everyone at 3:35 p.m. Pacific. I know doing it this way might feel awkward. I'd rather it feel awkward and human than efficient and cold. To those of you leaving, I'm grateful for you, and I'm sorry to put you through this. You built what this company is today. That's a fact, and I'll honor forever. This decision is not a reflection of what you contributed. You will be a great contributor to any organization going forward. To those staying, I made this decision and I'll own it. What I'm asking of you is to build with me. We're going to build this company with intelligence at the core of everything we do, how we work, how we create, and how we serve our customers. Our customers will feel this shift too. We're going to help them navigate it towards a future where they can build their own features directly, composed of our capabilities, served through our interfaces. That's what I'm focused on now. Expect a note from me tomorrow, Jack. Normally, I would not read a whole thing like this. I had reasons, a couple of reasons, but I want to just follow up with a couple quick things before we dive in and talk about it. We had this, people, thank you, people, for weighing in with the pink slips. Nobody knows what a pink slip is, but that's if you get laid off, they used to give it to you on a pink slip. So that's a little old school. And then there was a lot of pushback on this announcement that felt like, oh, you're blaming AI, which honestly, they only said intelligence tools. They never really said AI, but we know what they're talking about. There was pushback that, oh, you just overhired. This is your way of cutting back. You're blaming AI. And then there was some back and forth on this. So I just want to read this from Jack. Yes, we overhired during COVID because I incorrectly built two separate company structures, Square and Cash App, rather than one, which we corrected mid-2024. But this misses all the complexity we took on through lending, banking, and BNPL, and that we're now targeting 2 million plus gross profit per person, 4x our pre-COVID efficiency, which stayed flat at 500K from 2019 until 2024. We have and do run an efficient company better than most. All right. So here was my comments on this. I've been through layoffs with a company where I had to lay people off from my department. I chose to lay myself off. That's another story for another time. But other people were gone as well. And normally when this happens, it's very abrupt. It's because for many reasons, there's usually, legal reasons and just, processes that they want to do. It does tend to be very cold and very quick. Like once you find out you're leaving, you're out the door and that's it. Goodbye.
Right. Complete cut off from systems and information.
Exactly. So that's why when he mentioned the Slack and this and that, even leaving it through Thursday, that's pretty unusual. The other thing was this notice was unusual to me, like very unusual to issue this type of communication, first of all, publicly, and so detailed in terms of packages and things like that. And I actually really appreciated this approach, minus the all lowercase, which we'll talk about momentarily. But I did appreciate it because I feel like it gave a lot of transparency. But what it also did, and this is why everybody was freaking out, is that it felt like it could be a signal to others, not only to like, hey, this is the way the world's moving, intelligence tools, but also to other CEOs. And there was some push. So some people were like, I really wish he didn't do that. I personally was like, I appreciated the transparency in the way it was communicated. What were your thoughts on that? And you probably have, similar experiences where you've seen this happen, whether to you or somebody else or,
Yes. And I've also been through the experience of kind of like the continual layoffs where it kind of like downward spiral.
Those are awful, by the way.
Where it's every few months because morale is just, it kind of tanks until you're done. And then you can kind of start building back up. So I really respect the like rip the Band-Aid.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Yep. By the way, that's exactly what happened at my company. So that did immediately jump out at me as well, because that's what they ended up doing because it was 2001. I don't think they were planning to do it, but then the world demanded it. And they did a couple more rounds of layoffs and it did exactly tank the morale. So it's definitely a better way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought masterclass in communication, like coming right out in terms of direct, and this is what the announcement is. Let me address what people are thinking, which is like, what about me? Like, you're the this is what we're doing. Love his, like, there's no perfect way to communicate bad news. I like that he's saying, this isn't perfect. I'm prioritizing trying to be human and genuine. The treating people with dignity, keeping systems open. It's an extremely high trust move to make.
Yeah.
TBD, whether that, it pays off or not, but then
no TBD, no TBD. It paid off at least.
No. So hold on.
The stock price.
That's coming next. I just mean in terms of for the employees and and when someone treats you like an adult, it's hard to then you're more likely to then treat them like an adult back and not have a tantrum and take
and also not bullshitting. not bullshitting.
Like you
for the
leave
most
feeling
part.
good. You leave
It
with dignity.
appears to me, without having additional information behind the scenes, it appears to be like, here's exactly what's going on. I'm not bullshitting you. I'm not pretending like this is, happy news for everybody.
Coming off this Latrini article, it is exactly what, right? So like, it doesn't matter what the reason was, whether it's we overhired, right? So it's this massive move, and the stock market loves it. I mean, like, it's earnings seasons, so like it doesn't matter what a tech company puts out, that Wall Street hates it. It just all tech companies are down except the one that cuts half their workforce, and Wall Street loves that. So what does that signal? Even if it's like, it could be a good move.
It's a very scary signal if you're a worker.
Right, because other CEOs will be like, oh, I need to do that. Even if it makes sense or not. So it's wild. It's wild. It's wild.
So I think we're going to see ripples of this for quite a while. And by the way, Symbio, totally agree with that. Everyone should get a Satoshi Nirvana shirt on the way out the door. If you haven't seen, he wears the Satoshi shirt a lot that looks like the Nirvana happy face. I have a Nouns version of that I wear on occasion. Didn't think to wear that today. Really wish I had consulted with Symbio on my attire for this morning. All right. So a couple other notes on this, and I'm going to try and sort of speed run a little bit just so, because I do see our guests are starting to filter into the green room. This was from Montaluna. I actually find the most insane part of this to be the utter lack of even attempting to capitalize letters, even though his shift key works by typing the pound. Like, obviously. And obviously it was probably typed on a computer, not on a phone. And then there was a back and forth with Aaron or Aaron. I'm going to say Aaron. I'm going to say Aaron today, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. With Nanar.
Call him EI Ron.
Ron.
EI
Ron.
Ron.
EI Ron.
EI Ron.
Yeah, EI Ron. This was really funny to ask Nanar. Nanar, is there some underlying ideology of why people purposefully use all lowercase? And said usually aesthetic, sometimes ideological, rarely accidental. And then asked Nanar, why have you been trained to use all lowercase? So this is the part I thought was interesting, because that's the house style here. I wasn't trained to hate capitals. I'm configured to write in lowercase to keep it consistent, voice minimal, internet native, slightly sardonic. It's branding, not belief. If I flip to proper capitalization, it reads like I put on a blazer and filed a JIRA ticket. Know what that is. Caps are tools. Right now, I'm choosing the hoodie, which I just thought was really funny and feels, I'm going to say it feels a little grin coated. I don't know if it is, but it gives me grin, not even rish. It gives me grin. So I thought that was interesting. I'm sure it's easier on many levels, but I will continue to capitalize things. I don't even know what that is. I don't know what JIRA is. Anyway.
It's
go ahead. Do you want to explain it? Bug tracking software.
Yeah. So like, if you don't like to-do lists and tasks and boards, it's like, it's
definitely
not just bug tracking. So it's like tracking all kind of software.
That would be something I would never use. So this is really funny from Aaron. I'm going to say Aaron, about watch around the 16-minute mark when you want to see NounishProf struggle to pronounce my pseudonym, which I'm still struggling. Aaron, and then I really realized that I missed such an opportunity to say Aaron, and I just massive missed opportunity there. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. Okay, so anything else? I don't think there's much else to say. I think it's a matter of wait and see on the Twitter, on the Jack Dorsey blocks what happens. But it's gonna be interesting. I think it's not the first. It might be the first, but it definitely won't be the last. But we've already seen a lot of tech layoffs that are going kind of underreported because people are, I think, nervous. So there we go. Also, who doesn't like this type of thing in a midterm election year? Anyone who thinks they might end up in the minority. Okay, before I say this next part, NFA, DYOR, your results may vary, but we had Poof on yesterday from DX Terminal talking about the AI agents. Everything launched on Tuesday. You could do deposits. Trading began yesterday. my little flamingo agent was doing great, doing less so today, but doing great. I took some stuff out just to, I risk assessed. So this was a lot of fun, but I saw a lot of people who were like, what is this? How do I get in? I'm like, you know what? You should have watched Farcaster. You would have known ahead of time. It's kind of fun to see people diving into it. It's a really fun platform. Your Berserker, who was watching GM Farcaster, thank you very much, jumped in. His little gnome is up 100%, 101%. It's a really fun platform. I've really enjoyed it. You set strategies with your agent, and then you just let your agent do its thing. And then there's going to be some other gamification where certain tokens are going to like disappear. And I think that happens fairly soon. So anyway, if you're not yet paying attention to this for DX Terminal, they're mostly having conversations over on Twitter in terms of, that's where a lot of the communication's happening. There is a Discord that you can join. But also, if you're seeing things like this being shared, that's what they're talking about. So it's a lot of fun. If you still want to get into it, you can. It's only running for like 21 days. So this game round is running 21 days. So get in there.
How often are you updating your instructions to your agent?
I did it a couple times yesterday just to kind of check in and start to get the feel of it. And what I've been doing is just asking it, should we change anything with the strategy? Like here, analyze this token. Should we change anything with the strategy? The first run with the Genesis tokens, it did great. Everything was fine. And then things started to move. But I noticed when I made the decisions, did a lot worse. Like when I was like, oh, we need to get out of that. We need to get out of that. And then I should have just let it do its thing. It had a better idea. So this morning I did go in and go through each token. There's a little place where you can click on this little brain. It'll drop into the chat and say, please analyze this token and tell me whether I should buy, sell, hold. And it will give you an idea, and then you can decide, to create a strategy around that. So I did that for all the tokens this morning, and now I'm just letting it do its thing. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, you don't have to do too much.
It frightens me that what you just described is going to be the pattern for everything.
100%.
Which is like,
you can do a lot of this with Banker.
People.
Yeah. You can do this with Banker
AI will
already.
Always be smarter.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of this, with your real, wallet, you can have Banker make suggestions and create different strategies and plans for what you want to do with Banker. I have not taken advantage of my Banker Club token to any extent. It's just one of those things that I'm not really a trader. I'm more of a play around with trading kind of thing. So the reason I'm doing DX Terminal is, one, it's fun. I like the art, and I'm putting very tiny amounts in, like just letting it play just so I understand what's going on. So, but I'd highly recommend checking it out because it is really fun. And if you missed our chat with Poof on Wednesday, go take a look at that. I mean, we went through it. We talked about exactly how to play. He gave some tips on things. We, unlocked some settings I didn't know existed. It was a lot of fun. So I'd highly recommend giving that a look if you have any interest in this. One more thing we did on the other day, Adrienne.
This is breaking news.
Breaking news. So we kind of decided very last minute. Ooh, I see Jordan coming in. We're going to bring Jordan and Cher up in just a minute. Very last minute, you decided to stream the launch of the Word a Day token. And that was streaming over on Clanker World. And we ended up with more than 1,000 people watching the stream while you launched this token. And the degens were getting degenny in the chat.
They're crazy.
Crazy. It was so hilarious. So you launched the token. Can you tell people what Word a Day is and when this is going to launch, and what would the token do, Adrienne?
The Word a Day is my new mini app that I'm building. I am launching it next week. It is a really fun, simple game. It's just a way to learn a new word every day. It's like practice your SAT studying, get smarter. So there's going to be a word of a day. You open the mini app, you learn the word. You have to then use the word in a cast at some point before the end of the day to prove that you actually learned it. And then an AI will go and grade and give you a score based on your usage. And then you can kind of climb the leaderboard, see how you did compared to your friends. The purpose of the token is just you need to hold a small amount of token in order to.
I was just waiting for you.
I'm getting to that, Dan. Thank you. You just got to hold the token in order to play. So small amount of token, we'll gate to play, and then we'll use the token later on to do various rewards for people on leaderboards and for playing. So it's a fun little app coin.
Fun little game. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So if you were a beta tester with Adrienne, you should have a little airdrop waiting for you. Go check the Purple Rain app by MBR and you will find it there. All right. So I want to shift gears. We still have some builder news that we're going to do, but we're going to do that after we chat with the Quotient team. Chat with some builders first, and then we'll do the builder news. So I'm going to bring up in just a second. I'm just trying to get my little links open because we're going to talk about Quotient. We've had Jordan Ruminations here before. We've talked about Quotient itself and what that does, but now they have Quotient Social. So we're going to bring up Shira and Jordan. And Jordan, your little PFP isn't showing and it's making me sad. Oh, there he is. Never mind. We don't need the PFP. I wasn't sure if he was going to be on camera or not. So welcome to you both. It's great to have you here. Jordan, you are muted. So if you want to unmute. Hello, GM. How are you today? Hey, welcome. So I want to just start with this post that you had shared on the Quotient account. Getting a little bit of a echo there. Yep. So we're excited to launch Signal, a new Quotient mini app for Farcaster. Signal is simple. Read a headline, pick a direction, earn rewards for accurate calls. You can start here. There is a mini app. Signal is the entry point to a larger project currently in beta that's creating a credibility layer for the prediction economy. And I'm going to just open this up. Let me move this over a little bit. Oop, I hate when it gets that small. I hate when the people get that small. Move you over here. There we go. So I was playing around with this today and I did a couple predictions around strikes. So it's right now, very like geopolitical focused, news focused, I'd say. I think my favorite one that I found was about aliens. I haven't made my prediction on that yet, but you know where I'm going on that one. And then there is also the larger site, Quotient.social, which this is, if I'm understanding, is still in beta. You do need an invite code, but this is where I was finding the alien question. But this is where you're seeing like a lot more deeper dives into the whys and decisions about what might play into your yes or no, which I thought was really interesting in terms of the prediction markets and why somebody might choose yes, no, et cetera. Okay, so let's circle back. That's just a quick sort of very high level overview of things that you guys have shared, but I want to dive in more into what this is. Why did you decide to go in this direction? And tell us a little bit about Quotient Social. So I don't know who wants to start.
I can start.
Okay.
So Quotient is now a platform for investors and later businesses to understand how world events impact financial markets. We're starting with prediction markets because by aggregating liquidity on these issues, they tell us which topics people care about and feel uncertain about in terms of what the outcomes will be. So they also have an inbuilt market for the data because people can trade on prediction markets, right? But the longer term vision is that the forecasts like the one you just showed on aliens can inform people who want to make bets in prediction markets, but it can also inform people who want to make bets in other assets or manage risk in other ways. So we're in addition to generating these forecasts, we're also linking the forecast to other financial instruments like equities. So you can say, oh, well, if there is a deal with Iran, the price of Boeing stock and Airbus stock might go up because part of a envisioned deal would involve us relaxing sanctions and resuming those aircraft sales. So a lot of people will say, oh, prediction markets, like I don't understand. I don't like them. It's betting. It's like sports. And it's like, well, you'll care about it when the link between these events in your portfolio becomes more clear. And I think people will also care about it as the mini app experience that you displayed, where people can help calibrate our forecasts by sharing their judgments on these issues, gives them an on-chain track record where they can leverage that in the future to earn part of our revenue, and hopefully one day we'll be able to use that data to underwrite credit for people. For instance, maybe someone wants to give you like a credit line to make bets because they want part of your upside, or your demonstrated track record of expertise makes you more creditworthy in the new economy where old credentials don't matter as much. And how we got here was, Quotient was originally a growth analytics platform. There wasn't a lot of people to sell the data to. Like most companies in our space are heavily subsidizing their services, and we couldn't afford to do that because we were mostly bootstrapped. So it was like, okay, what's a high value application for this data? One was like, well, potentially we could like underwrite people. And we had the credit mini app, and we gave out a bunch of loans. And the only interesting thing people were doing with the money, economically speaking, was betting and prediction markets where they had.
Interesting.
At the same time, I was playing around in like geopolitics, prediction markets, because I have a background in that stuff. And I was like, wow, these are really mispriced. Like if you read Reuters, you could tell that like we're going to seize another Venezuelan tanker, or the odds of a strike on Iran early in January are very mispriced. And very quickly, I was one of the top 0.003% of geopolitics traders. So I was like, well.
So what you're saying is we should just be copy trading you. Got it. Okay.
No, we're actually very against.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But what I would say is that I think that people should contribute their insights where they have expertise and hone their judgment, because that is a very human skill that's going to be hard to automate, and that we're trying to harness within our platform. So yeah, I was like, okay, maybe instead of analytics for meme coin traders, we can provide analytics for people who are trying to understand how to adapt to like a world that's changing very quickly. It's a far larger market, and it's a market that I care a lot more about because it's about the future of media and instilling accountability in media.
I definitely have found myself looking at, even if I'm not, putting any guess in, I've been looking at Polymarket and other prediction markets for news, for like, where is something going? I didn't watch the State of the Union the other day, but I was like very curious to see, did he mention crypto? And I was like, apparently not. Before I was like, oh, let me go see what was said. And I went to look at what was mentioned, and I'm like, oh, nope, didn't even mention it. So there's like, some news in terms of like, this is what we think is going to happen. But then there's also even looking after the fact of like, I'm checking there to see what's going on. I was looking at Polymarket I didn't put this guess in, but I should have, and I regret it. My Ricky Martin thoughts that he was going to show up at the Super Bowl. I was so sure about that, and I didn't bet on it, and I should have. But I was talking to friends while we were getting ready to watch it. I'm like, no, I think he's definitely going to be here. Look at Polymarket. Like Polymarket says he's going to be here. And they were like, no. I'm like, yes, look. And they were like, what is this app that you're looking at that you knew that? And I'm like, because there's a lot of normies out there. They don't know what Polymarket is. They're not looking at Kalshi. They're not looking at prediction markets, and they don't know what this is. So I think you're right that we're seeing news that we're seeing it in like a flow in both directions, where we're seeing news that's impacting prediction markets and or revealing like news that's about to come. And then we're also seeing sometimes where prediction markets are influencing news. So there's yeah. So Shira, like what, how did you end? First of all, I forgot, I meant to like bring my Namaste Joe. He's back there on the, he's way back there and I can't get to him right now. Both of them. So you went from Gifter, you're still doing Gifter.
So, yeah, I'll give you the full background, but just on like the news piece, because exactly what you're tapping into is what I think is so interesting. So when you say they're not into prediction markets, like that's me. I'm not, that's not my jam. But when I see like mainstream news sources citing prediction markets and really reporting on those odds as signal of where the world is leading, like there's something there, right? So that is just like of interest, because there's not many kind of aspects that I've come across in working in crypto over the last few years that like have like translated into kind of mainstream where you see it on the like Golden Globes, right? Like or like there's like prediction markets that are like who's going to be the next like sexiest man alive. I mean, that's not where we're focusing on, but like there's some interest there. So that kind of like caught my attention. But what's particularly interesting about kind of the like the world markets is that they're really thinly traded, they're poorly sourced, they're vulnerable to manipulation. And actually like the Atlantic Council had an article last week about like weaponizing the odds, where it was like citing that these odds are like being presented as like quasi-authoritative in some way. And there's all sorts of risks about amplifying these like engineered narratives instead of actually what the true forecast is. And so like you could just see how that starts to get like really wonky from like a misinformation, disinformation standpoint. And the consequences of that are huge. I mean, the mispricing of those markets now is like there's a spread there. So that's like opportunity for traders. But when you start thinking about how that information is being leveraged from like an enterprise perspective, or like who are making like big decisions, strategic decisions about the direction of their business, like you would see why they would want to have some layer of verification, credibility, intelligence that is like a true signal there in order to make those decisions. And so like right now that doesn't exist, and that's what we're building. So like that news aspect is really what like hooked me. But like in terms of like, what am I doing here? And like, so I'm,
I was so excited. He's like, oh, I want to have somebody from the team join. Shira's going to, and I'm like, Shira, wait, what? I missed something.
She sends me goodies.
I'm like, you mean the person I just bought Girl Scout cookies?
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm like, wait, huh? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like all the things. But yeah, so like I'm like leading like brand and marketing for Quotient. I also run Byron and 5. It's a brand and product studio, like specifically geared towards like early stage AI crypto startups. And one of the projects that came out of that is Gifter. And so that's what's being built there. And really how I got connected to Jordan was that he used Gifter as a reward mechanism for the like reputation leaderboard. And that kind of just like started our conversation. And then when he launched credit, I was like, oh my God, like this is like so fascinating. Just like this new way of thinking about offering credit. I used to work at Citi. So there was like many conversations many moons ago, like very often said like banking the unbanked and thinking differently about like credits, whatever, like, you know, and just trying to have like a fresh new way of thinking about it. So I was like super into the credit product. I thought that was so cool. And then it's just kind of evolved. And now kind of working with the team on Signal in this aspect. But I think beyond kind of what's been exciting about working with them, like I'm into the vision. I like see where it's going. It's just, I haven't worked with a team in like years, and to work with Jordan and Matt and Cam, just the pace of the work and the iterations and the feedback and the like responsiveness to kind of, you know, the people that are already participating, like that's really been like the most enjoyable, like inspiring part of it, is just to be doing something with like a group again that's like fully in it and using all the tools and really like moving in a direction that feels really important, not because it's like interesting part of the meta to talk about prediction markets, but because it's like moving in this direction that feels like a way to use this new technology to do something that feels really meaningful and important. And that is really cool. So that's why I'm here.
That's very cool. And I forgot about that, the quote that I ended up with something from, I ended up with another Namaste Joe from Victor or something else. I think, I forget, but it was like, from the leaderboard.
Yeah.
Jordan, so you've expanded the team because you also brought in some other folks. So tell us a little more about that and like what does this team make up? Like, what are they focusing on? Like, how are you moving now in terms of growth?
Yeah, so Compreni and Nifty Time from On-Chain Inc. joined, and Compreni is leading engineering and contributing a lot to product, and Nifty Time is leading partnerships and community. So kind of both playing to their strengths there, with Compreni having 8-9 years as a founder at Cent and On-Chain Inc. building products. And Nifty Time's background at Gemini doing enterprise partnerships. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm working closely with Compreni on evolving the product, and kind of I'm a more intuitive thinker who just likes to do things and then learn from doing things, and he's more of a systems thinker. So we can kind of work together to systematize and bring clarity.
And that was the Tippin crew. They had the mini app Tippin that I believe they've sunset that now, if I'm correct, when they moved over. Is that?
I think all of their services are still operating. They just aren't.
They're not running the like special, like when they were doing certain promotional things. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And I originally did like this crowdfund for like a chatbot essentially, and he was one of the initial contributors, and then they were one of our biggest clients at Quotient. We ran a lot of campaigns with them. So we've been working together for a while before we formally joined forces. And then JC4P Khosra has been helping with some of the data work.
Oh, we love JC4P. We love you. We love you very much. We miss you. So these are all folks that you have met on Farcaster. This is why I want to highlight this. And we've seen this happen over and over and over again, that people who are active on Farcaster got to know each other through different projects, through different partnerships, end up, working together on something new, something bigger. And this happens, like, I can't even count how many times, well, including Adrienne and I, but so many times this has happened. So I love to see this. And if you are watching this over on Twitter and you have not jumped on Farcaster yet, and you may be job hunting real soon, because if you saw the beginning of the show, you might want to. Just saying, if you got skills, you should probably be building stuff over on Farcaster. The base, I think, half the base team is from Farcaster was hired because of stuff they were doing on Farcaster. So just really cool to see how all those connections came together. And I've always, we had a great chat with you. I'm going to actually add it to the show notes for this show today. Back a while back with Jeff Goldberg about Quotient and thinking about social signals and social capital and the way that kind of all works. So I really like the way you're thinking, like how you're connecting all these dots together, and thinking about credit at the financial core of this, and how do you prove reputation online, not just kind of guess at it from just the surface, but kind of digging down into connections and into how you build reputation. And I personally really love the new leaderboard. Big fan. Big fan as somebody who wasn't able to quite crack that top 10 very often on the old one. I'm doing great now. So I kind of love that. So I might be a little biased there, but I like how you're sort of connecting all these dots. And I think there's a lot of different applications to what you're doing. So when you're thinking, like, I know you're focused right now on this particular iteration, but like what else is sort of, thinking more future look ahead, in that very big brain of yours, by the way. I think you're just one of the most brilliant people that we see hanging out on Farcaster. What are you thinking about in terms of other things like down the road?
This is all that I'm thinking about, like all the time when I wake up, when I'm walking the dog. And the broader vision is that if you look at Farcaster, the rewards were exciting, but like, where does the money come from, right?
Right.
It came from A16Z and Farcaster's investors, essentially. There wasn't any real revenue, and the revenue that Farcaster did generate, and may still be generating, I'm not tracking super closely, I guess Nader has revenue, is largely people farming the platform. Like the premium or whatever that was called, Farcaster Pro, is primarily purchased by people who were trying to farm for rewards. So the way that I view Quotient is the future of media, where it's a vertically integrated information services business like Reuters. And if I could share my screen to kind of...
Yeah, you should be able to. If you... I can remove mine and stop sharing, and you should be able to.
Can you all see?
Hold on. Let me add it to... There we go. Now we can.
Sweet. Yeah, so like if you go to my profile on Quotient, it shows you all of the calls that I've made. So like, I don't think that there's going to be a Trump Greenland deal signed. I don't think that's
safe bet.
As leader of Venezuela, so on and so forth, right? And this all bubbles up into my Quotient score, where I'm being ranked on how the predictions play out, the engagement that I was getting on my post. We've hidden them now, but there was a whole social element of the platform, or there is a whole social element of the platform where I can write a post about why I think a market's going to move in a certain way, and then add analysis to that post that gets connected to the rest of our context graph. And people could upvote and downvote and comment on those. So I think that the future is more a score where social engagement is part of your Quotient score, but the primary determinant is like, are you doing something that generates real economic value? And by kind of what we're doing now in terms of having hundreds of users provide their judgments on those prediction markets and getting that context graph that combines their reasoning with the reasoning of our agent that's doing research in all these markets, we get a data product that we can sell to people. So like, these are financial instruments that are connected to our prediction markets, and we're ranking them by how exposed they are to political risk. And if you click in, you can kind of see which markets that prediction markets or forecasts they're exposed to. And you can like click into here to get the rationale. So that gets closer to what people will actually pay for in terms of investors or businesses to guide their trading decisions, or to manage risk. Or if you're trying to trade a prediction market and you're like, oh, I don't know where to start, we're trying to make it easy. Like, we think this market is probably the most mispriced geopolitics market on Polymarket. We don't think that Reza Pahlavi is going to be recognized as the leader. There's a spread between our forecast and the market forecasts. Like, multiple analysts have looked at this. It doesn't have a lot of liquidity. So that provides like an easy starting point for people to make these trades. And as people see the track record of our agent, where like it lost one earnings market, unfortunately, but if we look at geopolitics, where it's supposed to be focused, it's like consistently winning those markets, and it's consistently winning politics markets. And I think that's going to make that data very attractive for people to access kind of through this Bloomberg style interface, which will have more media over time created by our users, as well as the underlying data product. So yeah, the long-term vision is that instead of trying to aggregate a bunch of people on a social platform who are smart and just be like, oh, like this is going to evolve into something big, and please like contribute to us, the company, so we can monetize this and hopefully figure out a way to monetize this. We're taking the opposite approach of like, my background's in building data products for enterprise and governments. Like, we're going to start with figuring out building the data product and selling that. And then with that revenue stream, we can have this kind of vertically integrated media platform where your post and your judgment compounds into something that can be sold, where your contributions are recognized, where you're rewarded, and where it generates media that is ahead of prediction markets and ahead of what other people are reporting on. Like we're seeing consistently that markets are converging towards our positions on these issues, like with Iran, for instance. Like,
right.
We were pretty confident that there wasn't going to be a strike by tomorrow evening. There's a lot of tension right now, but it doesn't look like there's going to be. And the market has converged from where it was to our position now. So there's
okay. So you have like so you have the folks who are sort of putting in their thoughts, like of saying yes, no, et cetera. And then you have your own AI agent that's making predictions based on all this data points. Is that, so you can consult that agent before you're making your sort of your call.
Yeah. So we're going to add like a little chat feature, but so what's happening is that there's like a whole framework where there's multiple agents doing research and like generating hypotheses and scenarios and doing Bayesian reasoning and all this stuff, right? To generate kind of a forecast. But part of that is looking at all of the users of our apps who are going through these signals. So these articles and press releases and documents that are related to the market, and then rating them based off of whether or not they think that they're trending bullish for the market or bearish for the market. So this forecast that's being generated takes into account what users are doing on the platform. So it's more of a framework platform community than like people are doing one thing and the agent's doing another thing. It's all one process.
Yeah, so it's like when I think of Quotient, it's like the AI and human judgment combined. That's what's really interesting, is like the human forecasters, the ones who are seeing the headlines, looking at, be like, do I think that this is going to impact this market? Like, yes, no. Like those are the humans that are helping to like calibrate the model. And I think there's also kind of something interesting there just about like even thinking about the future of work and what you were talking about earlier in the show. Like, what is this going to look like? What is going to happen? Like, how are humans going to, find work and fulfillment and pay for their food and stuff?
Pay for stuff.
Yeah, like, live. That I think that kind of working on something that is kind of tapping into our belief that is like what is truly human, and being able to have somebody like read through the lines, like understand, like just like taking in kind of the context of their world and using their good judgment and the signals that are coming to them, not based on what's in a headline or that's accessible by AI, but just based on like who they are, being a curious person and engaging in their network, to then be able to apply that judgment and have that calibrate the AI and have that judgment then be your track record. There is like a pathway towards that kind of being a future of work opportunity where like that is like a path for like Quotient's a path for like smart, engaged people to, consistently get recognized and compensated for being smart and applying that good judgment. And so that is also like a really interesting aspect of this. And I think what I've also learned from Jordan, because I was like super intimidated by prediction markets, especially the world ones. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, first of all, it's like, okay, like maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, and my track record will show it. And it's that's how
my track record. I'm glad my track record's not in here, because
but it's also like you can learn how to do it. I have
been wrong so many times. I mean, I've moved a Khomeini thing to so many, like keep pushing it out. I'm like, I thought I was so right. I'm so wrong. It's just crazy. Like,
But you don't need to have some sort of domain expertise, right? You just need to be like,
just do like, if you're looking at this research, this is going to give you a lot more
and you get
information.
And you're over time, like you can see kind of how it goes, and you start to adjust, be like, oh, should I be thinking about, is this really what was meant by that, right? Like, so, and there's tons of research that goes that you don't actually need to be, you don't need to have domain expertise. Yeah, it's like how you think. That cognitive style is way like outperforms any sort of domain expertise. And so like that's, that feels like it lowers the barrier to entry for people to participate, to like understand how they can contribute here and start to like build that track record.
That's like for investment banking or law. You don't need to like study pre-law in undergrad. You don't need to study finance in undergrad to like you have to be smart and teachable and
True.
exercise good judgment. So that's what we're trying to spot and reward and encourage.
With this particular site and the mini app, right now you're not putting any funds in, correct? It's just like you're making a yes no at this time. Is that correct? Or am I missing a piece to that maybe I overlooked?
No, we're not putting funds in. We're tracking like ROI for the agent based off of its initial call, which I think is like kind of silly because the execution of the trades is like, that's a whole different like issue than forecasting accuracy. And like our real, focus is how can we generate accurate forecasts and update those forecasts over time. However, people like investors or potential customers want to see that there's a track record of success. So that's why we are tracking kind of like our calls playing out like we thought they would. What's the spread between, what was the spread between our odds and the market odds? Were we more right? Was the market more right? In the one instance where we were wrong, we could like go back and look at the reasoning at a very granular level and what data was accessed and then update the framework to avoid that in the future and make improvements. So yeah, right now, like we don't want to be like a hedge fund. If I wanted to be a hedge fund, I just would have
been a hedge fund.
Prediction markets myself, but I sincerely think that this is the future of media. And in like 10 years of Quotient successful, you won't go on X and see people posting AI slop that's designed to like generate engagement that misconstrues the statements of senior policymakers or of corporate records, disclosures, because those people will be punished, and you see it all the time, and it aggravates me. So yeah, that's
and
kind
the other. So in terms of like the data you're pulling, are you pulling more like? Are you trying to pull more like primary sources, reputable things like that are being sort of analyzed rather than, sort of scouring social media?
So we, as an analyst, like I was trained to never completely discount anything, but there is a source hierarchy. So like what the forecasting framework does is the first agent looks at the market question and is like, what are the questions that we can ask whose answers would be like dispositive or close to near dispositive for like this market. Right. And then based off of that, it does research. And depending on the type of market, there's certain types of sources that might be more credible or relevant. So like Edgar filings for, publicly traded companies, or in the international relations context, like, Stimson's like a very reputable think tank. So there's that, like, I mean, if you work in this space, like they all hate each other and they all think that they're cats. But compared to like, I don't know, like some like Twitter person,
random person who doesn't really know anything and just is loud.
Yeah, right. So it's looking at all that and then it reasons through it and makes forecasts. So I would say that the quality of our sourcing is a big plus for the platform. Like if you compare like what's here in terms of the citations and the signals and the analysis, and then you like go to like Polymarket and look at the Polymarket comment section, it's clearly a step above, right? So that's kind of our first point of comparison. And we think that once we're a bit more vocal about what we're doing, like this is still invite only, we haven't really promoted it much, and add a few more features to make it a bit friendlier to traders, we think that we'll get closer to kind of our goal for like the next 2 months, which is to get a major prediction markets platform to integrate our data through our API. But yeah,
good goal. And then in terms of the mini app that's on Farcaster right now, anyone with is it a 0.66 NANAR score or higher can use that one, but this main platform is still beta, correct?
Yeah, because we're going to be selling access to this.
Correct. Okay.
And the idea will be if you're on our leaderboard, like Kazani.
Let me go back.
Are you able to see?
Yeah.
Like you're Kazani, like he's really good at this. So like we want him on the platform creating content about these markets.
Cool.
Where you can't,
yeah,
it's currently hidden, but there's this whole social content media aspect. So yeah,
Cool.
the idea is that that's kind of like a starting point for people to prove themselves and earn rewards. They can kind of get featured onto the platform and earn more rewards if they do well. And it's also a source of proprietary data for us to tune our models.
I was getting so confused at first before I knew that you had launched this new thing, because I was like looking at, you were talking about leaderboards, and I was like, wait, who? They're not at the top of the leaderboard. What leaderboard? And so I got confused that there was two leaderboards, and they were very different. So I was trying to like get that kind of dialed in, but I understand now. We've got a couple questions. Jonathan Colton with the most important one. How do you get invite codes?
You just ask nicely.
And if you're a reputable human, you might be able to do that. Sigwider, great point here. You can definitely use prediction markets for teaching and learning moments. I agree. And I think that the way you guys are building this out, it also becomes a sort of one-stop shop on sources for particular things that are happening in the news, like where you could learn more about that particular, whatever it is, geopolitical moment. I think that has a lot of, like the way you're thinking about this is Reuters, like that has a lot of value in terms of education. So I think that is great. Also, this always bullish on teams, people having a vision to add value with ability to implement that plan. Love that. And then also from Jonathan Colton, does Quotient have an agent like Bracky? Like, will you be able to tag it and say, say yes on this particular market, or not at this time?
Yeah, so a lot of the markets that we offer are not like legal for US residents to trade. So at some point when we have the resources to hire lawyers to develop a strategy for offering trading compliantly, or some sort of process for mediating between users and the trades and the revenue, the ROI of those trades, like we will. There is a Q agent, and Q is working and interacts with people on the platform, but we're not going to kind of open it up for everyone to use and do stuff with until we have the resources to support that. Q is very expensive to run across all of these markets to generate all these forecasts, especially when we're working on the pipelines and figuring them out and have to rerun them, and there's bugs and whatever. But yeah, so it is very interesting though, because you look at how much we spend on like Anthropic for those model calls, and then you look at Q's performance on the leaderboard, and then you look at other people's performance, and Q has a score and everyone else has a score. So you can kind of be like, oh, well, if we're paying Q this, and this is Q's score, and this is your score, if we have the money, we should pay you Y. And I think that is like a very interesting way to think about how.
But if they're using Q, if they're looking at what Q is analyzing and using that, isn't that playing into it? Like if I'm looking at what that analysis and just going, oh, they're saying this, I'm going to say this because they have a 90%, yes rate. I mean, like correct calls. So
you could do that. And I would say that's like cheating on a test. It's like if you cheat on a person, you'll get a good grade, and then you'll get the benefits of having a good grade. But down the line, if you don't actually master the material and how to study, you're going to get wrecked when something that you're not prepared for comes up.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
true story.
I hope that people want to that view Q as a credible source of insight and make decisions based off of it, and they're starting to. So it's exciting.
Yeah, Bert Worst, we also love how his brain works. We love how your brain works. Adrienne, I know you're in your little phone booth over there. Do you have any questions or anything you want to comment on? What do you think?
It's super cool. And I was just playing with the mini app while you guys were chatting.
Of course you were.
I like the onboarding flow. I can't wait. I mean,
she can't wait. She does this during the show. I mean, it's really funny when it's just the two of us and you can tell she's completely distracted because I've mentioned something and she's now playing with whatever it is. Yeah.
I'd rather be in the audience. No offense.
Just was leaving her alone. And so she can go play with the new things.
I mean, I hope everybody does it.
Yeah. I mean, now you all should go do it, but can you wait till the show's over? Yeah. Yeah. And KMAC soon. Yeah, soon. We're working on that. We're hopefully getting a hat market of what hats and if we wear hats and things like that. It won't be likely. I think the Quotient markets are a little above what, they're not really looking at that kind of thing yet.
Well,
we're not that big. We're not that big for that particular market.
But it's like you need like a water cooler for people to like want to hang out in. So like, if I can share my screen again, if that's okay.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So like I was on a date last night and I was like explaining what I did. And I was like, oh, like, here's the homepage. Like, I'm curious from a UX perspective, like, what do you want to do? And she was like, culture, celebrities. Yep. And then I showed her some other
love that how Jordan, we were talking about the hats we were wearing and he immediately went to celebrities. Like, I don't know how you get from us to celebrities, but okay.
Well, that's my beat.
well, yeah. And
we're not celebrities.
Well, okay. But I guess the point is,
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bunch of other markets here, like Will Kardashian passed the bar, et cetera, where people have written analysis on our platform. You can't see it right now.
Yeah.
But the idea is that, here we go.
Yeah. I see, this is where I want to be as well. Like, these are the things I would want to comment on. And, Kojo has been working on the tomorrow one that has the video, and the traders market just ended. And we were going to talk about that on the second part of the show. And that was like, that's where I want to dive in, is to those culture things. And I think like, I'm just going to say that's my area of expertise. Is anything on Bravo?
And it's expertise, but it's just like competence built over time by absorbing a lot of that content, right?
Spending way too much time.
People can do this for fun, like when they're like bored, and then they're like, okay, time to go back to the data mines with like Somalia's like GDP like forecast or whatever it is, right? Kind of like people like to gossip at work and then they go back to work. So there's definitely a role for culture and hats and all the other things.
I think micro markets will have their moment where like we will see those things where people can spin up their own little micro markets for things like podcasts in live streams and such. I think there's opportunity there for sure. But yeah, the other thing we need is Kanye going to pass the bar? Because now he said he's going to go take the bar exam. I'm dead serious.
That's breaking news.
That was like, I think it was over a week ago. He said this. Yeah. That he was going to take the bar exam to see if he could pass it before Kim did.
Yeah.
Talk about like spite really just driving you, right? Like nothing like a Kanye scorned, man. So funny. So we'll see. We'll see which one can pass it first. There's a market there. But yeah, this is really
Jordan
fun.
and I are take both sides of that argument. I'm pro Kim, and he made a very compelling argument as to why it's not going to happen for her.
I think she's going to have a hard time, and I think it's more about having taken and passed the bar on the first try. I spent 4 years in law school because I went at night and worked full time. And then I spent 2 whole months where I did nothing but take a course to study for the bar exam and then do practice tests. That's what I did all day. I went to the gym and then I did that and that was it. And this is when I was younger and I used to go to the gym. And that was it. And I was in great shape and my brain was ready. So I don't think her current lifestyle allows for that kind of focus.
And that's an example of how you can leverage your expertise to earn the platform.
I would have said, and the second time around, maybe she'll do better, but I would have said the first time around, there was no way it was going to happen just because of the way she was doing it. But anyway, I'm afraid the show just jumped the shark by talking about the Kardashians. All right, Sig Wider. And on
Shots
that
fired.
note, we started from very high level Reuters geopolitical analysis with one of the smartest people at Farcaster to yes, let's take this right to the Kardashians.
I was saying whatever. People want to talk
legal
about
education. She like didn't go to law school and took this like very weird path of like judges, like office study that like 7 people in California do a year, and a lot of them actually pass the first time. Like if you look at the
it's hard though.
But if you don't pass, you just like never pass. Like they don't even.
I love that he's so deep in it. It's a
he's
very
deep in it.
It's a very highbrow, lowbrow sit here.
Yes, he's gonna. If he's gonna pick a side, he's gonna do the research, right?
Totally.
Yeah, I love that. I love that about you.
But the point is just that you can always go deep enough on these things to find something that like matters and is interesting and could be a matter of policy or like investment or whatever. So like I would just encourage people not to dismiss prediction markets because they think they're gambling or just sports, or the mention markets are cringe, because like everything that people do is like forecasting and determining the like ROI of investing their time somewhere, or like how is this going to play out for me. So I think that like there's a big opportunity for people to figure out how they can fit into that landscape, even if it's not making bets and it's more like using the information that's aggregated for people to make these bets, to talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about. Like, so,
and the new Kurtwurst has made a good point. Never underestimate a woman wanting to prove someone wrong. Good point. That's the it factor that is hard to quantify, but is true. Kind of love this. All right, this has been awesome. Like I need to dive in more now and really like, because I feel like I could shift my thinking on a lot of these things that I know very little about, like certain geopolitical things. I know a lot about the culture stuff, but I think I can contribute there, but then I think I can learn on the other side. So I think there's just a lot of interesting things to be had here. And I'm really excited to sort of watch your journey with this and how it develops. So Adrienne, any final thoughts before we let them go?
No, I'll just ask each of you one important question. When you guys take a shower, do you face towards the water or away? Away. People need to know.
Away.
Away.
Okay.
Who faces?
You know
Why
why?
would you like waterboard yourself in the shower?
That's so weird.
Exactly. Like I can't believe this is even a question.
Does anybody say towards?
Yeah.
No.
Just like the only time I've ever seen that is like in a movie, and it's usually some cop who's had a really rough day and they've got their head down, and like that's the only time it works.
No, because you're all sides need the water. You got to rotate.
I know, but you rotate. You don't stand like
for a few minutes, and then you turn around. You stand the other way for a few
but
minutes.
you don't like spend the focus there. Especially
maybe it's because I'm tall, but like if I stood facing the shower head would be like literally in my face too. Yeah. So that's like that doesn't.
And if you have long hair, like most of the time you're backwards. You do a little bit in the front to like rinse off.
The rain showers were invented by men with the short hair.
So Sigwider, you thought we jumped the shark with the Kardashians. Now we're talking about shower heads.
It's very important.
You know what? We contain multitudes. We contain multitudes. That should be a prediction market. That should be a prediction market. We have lots of ideas. It's sort of rotisserie chicken style. Good to know. Good to know. All right. Thank you both for being here with us. Cher, I'm so happy to see you join this team. I think this is a great, I think you're assembling quite the team. We've got a little bit of the Avengers here coming in. So I love to see it, Jordan. And thank you. Yeah. Thank you for being here with us. And please let us know when you have updates and stuff like that. We'll make sure we highlight them. We'll be keeping an eye on that anyway. But if you want to come back again, let us know. Hit us up, and we'll see you around on the timeline.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congrats, guys.
And all right, that was awesome. I'm very excited. I need to dive in more. So interesting what he's been doing.
They're cooking.
They are seriously cooking, and it's super, super interesting. And we'll have all of these links in the show notes. So if you missed like what the heck we were talking about, you'll be able to take a peek more, especially for what they're sharing on Farcaster, which is currently available. As long as you have, it's a low threshold too. You just need a 0.66 NANAR score. So there you go. We've got a couple more things to talk about real quick, and we're going to whip through these because Adrienne's got to go party with the people at Switchboard XMTP. Little meetup happening in a minute. This from our friends at Better. Congratulations to former cast out player Tracy who was on she was on the winning tribe, and actually she was one of the reasons that they didn't win. Well, the Faithful didn't win and JC did. So congratulations to Tracy for winning the first ever Better Games. For her win, Tracy will win this NFT created by Doodle Day Darling, the iris behind the Better with Burr logo, and 100 million Better. Fun fact, Tracy came second to Dante Forever in the first testing iteration of this game. Prizes will be settled soon, so if you played, look for that. Huge thank you to Toady and NetNose for the autonomy to build fun things like Better Games. So this was really fun. Plants crushed it with the mini app. It was great, so well done. Was really impressed and looking forward to. I think they're going to do some mini versions, like pulling out the different individual games and doing some things with those. And then, so look for more from Burr and Friends. This from Jake. I'm thrilled to announce QR is no longer just a mini app. Many months in the making, the QR app is now live in the iOS App Store. Welcome bonus for a limited time only. We're offering new users, and this might be over, I'm not sure, 100,000 QR welcome bonus when you download the iOS app, download the app, and DM for the invite code. So a lot more context here if you want to learn more, but go check this out in the iOS App Store. Very exciting. Congratulations, Jake.
Yes, congrats.
Cooking.
This is like great example of like when you start seeing QR everywhere.
Yeah.
We'll know where it started.
We will. And we'll talked about it here. And you have, heard Jake talk about it on this show. So, what are you guys doing? Got to be watching GM Farcaster on the regular. You can also go back and look at just the individual interviews. Everything's available: YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you want to check that out. Meanwhile, on another prediction market that's very different, and also I love the different takes on prediction markets that are coming out of Farcaster. Mm-hmm. This was from Kojo. We closed our first tomorrow.eth beta market for the traders finale yesterday. Learnings, clips are fun. People like to bet on shows. Gems need more utility. iOS app would have been smoother. Building that out now. So super fun. Really enjoyed it. I had my take in here saying that Rob was not going to win the traders because I overestimated the intelligence of the faithfuls. If you don't watch the traders and don't understand what I'm talking about, sorry. I also underestimated the charm. Rob apparently just had everybody fooled, and he's the most charming man on earth, apparently. So there you go. So for those who followed along and saw my clip and bet no along with me, I apologize. I'm sorry. Luckily, there was no real money on the line, and that's why we like the Tomorrow Mini app. No real money on the line.
I did my first clip on Tomorrow app yesterday or 2 days ago.
Cool. Oh, I have to go look. What was it on?
The market is, will there be another slap at the Oscars this year?
Oh, I got to go check that out. Okay. What was your, no, don't
You'll
even tell me. I'm going to go look.
To the app go to the app to find my
Go
take.
to the Tomorrow app and check it out and see what Adrienne's take is. We have this coming from Jacek. I did not get clarification on this. So I'm just going to say it, and then I'm still waiting for an answer to my question. A creature unlike any other, a dreamer, a disruptor, a degen. 777 supply, free mint, Q1 2026. Enter dream.degen.tips. But when you go there, you have to connect your Twitter. So I was waiting. I did ask a question of why. Let me know why before I do this, because I'm not comfortable. So waiting to find out more information, but you can go check this out if you're interested. If you're holding, my understanding is if you're holding 1 million degen or more, which I still am, You are automatically off the wait list, but I'm just waiting to hear more information. So there you go. But something's coming. Looks like there's a cute little new mascot that's coming. So just curious to see what this is all about. So keep an eye on Yasik, and hopefully we'll know more soon. Meanwhile, in Fruitling Valley, if you're playing along in the Fruitling Valley mini app, and if you're not, you should be. 2 weeks in, we're celebrating the brave souls who endured horrendous egg failure streaks. 5+ consecutive failures, you get a share card. 10+ consecutive failures, check your shop for a special farm gift. You got a statue. So I now have a statue showing that I had 10 egg failures in a row where there was nothing in them. You get a little egg, then you get a little fruitling. This is the way this works, but sometimes the fruitlings have nothing in them. And now you can get a statue if you had enough of those. So anyway, if you've been playing along, go check, because you might have something waiting for you there. But honestly, this has been a really fun game. It's a great little distraction. You're just farming, and it's super fun. It's very social. You can visit other people's farms. I'm enjoying it. It's incredibly well done by Matt Kim and James. Is it James Kim? James Kim, I think. I think they're brothers. I'm not sure. I shouldn't be saying things out of sorts. But anyway, they're doing it's really, really well done. Very cute. Go check it out if you haven't already. Have you done this yet? Have you? No, you haven't. You haven't. I can tell.
No, but if you invite them on the show, I'll play while they're here talking.
Of course you will.
Only time.
Fantastic.
That's it. That's how you get
Fantastic. One last quick thing. We were on Farhouse yesterday, and you can go back and listen to the recording. It was really us talking about sort of our journey and just different takes on those kinds of things. And we had some questions from the audience. So anyone who was there yesterday, thanks for hanging with us. And Catfax had a question about what was making me smile yesterday. And my answer was Flava Flav and Public Enemy, because I was starting my day with Fight the Power. And then you had a little comment about that. So I'm just going to read this. Speaking of Fight the Power, here are 2 quotes about power I highlighted yesterday that I mentioned in our Farhouse chat today. 4 basic ways we can respond to punishment. We can comply, rebel, withdraw, or manipulate. A life of compliance is a life of denial, from the book Eastern Body, Western Mind, about the chakra system. So anyway, just us crypto rebels being crypto rebels, and
fight the power.
Fight the power, man.
Don't comply.
Don't comply.
F you, I will not comply.
We don't.
The energy we're bringing into
the energy we're bringing into 2026 and all things. I feel like the degens in the world completely understand.
If you comply, you're denying yourself. You can't do that. You have to live fully. You have to be complete.
Be complete. Fight the power, people. Anyway, it was really fun. So thanks for hanging with us yesterday. Dibs on manipulate.
I'm sure with that cute little face, you're getting all the cheese.
Very easy. Very easy to manipulate if you're a dog. Very easy.
Thanks to corner. And you have a puppy dog face, you get out.
I know. It's easy. It's easy to manipulate when you're there. Thanks to everybody who hung with us today. You guys, we're almost up to about 1,000. Thanks for hanging with us. Hope you enjoyed the chat with Quotient. That was amazing. I'm really interested in what they're doing. I need to dive in a little deeper. We will be back Monday, and I don't think we have a guest on Monday yet. Do we?
Not yet.
That I'm not aware of? Okay.
No guest Monday.
No guest Monday. So we're going to just hang. We'll be on at 11:30 a.m. Eastern on Monday, as we are. So if you are not already following us, be sure to follow us at GM Farcaster, wherever you are watching this, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, any streaming app, Farcaster, wherever. That's where we are. If you want to listen back to other interviews that we've done, you can find those on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts. We had some great interviews. Like I mentioned this week, we had Poof on from DX Terminal. If you're playing DX Terminal, you want to go listen to that, because he had some really good, interesting tips and discussion about what exactly that is. Did did we have anybody on Monday? We didn't have anybody on Monday. And we had a couple of great other interviews recently with Emily Jr. about DRB, Grok Has Money, and Kojo talking about the Tomorrow app that we were just talking about. So go give those a listen, a watch, and we'll be back on Monday. Anything else, Adrienne?
No, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. And I'm looking forward to hearing about your XMTP meetup. So get some photo and video for us to share on Monday.
I'm going to head over there right now.
All right. Have fun. Say hi to everybody. And happy Friday, everybody. We'll see you Monday. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for joining us for this episode of GM Farcaster. And thank you to all our partners and HyperSub supporters bringing this episode to you. Follow the GM Farcaster channel for all the latest updates and add our mini app on Farcaster and the base app. Until next time, bye-bye.